So welcome back to Film Marriott on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed already and you are new here, consider subscribing because we bring you the latest movie and TV reviews along with music interviews and theatre reviews too. But we are down at the London Film Festival. Raj is here.
Hey Phil.
We have a regular movie and TV review web series called Boys on Film. You can check filmmarriott.net or eqmusicblog.com for all the information and online stuff there as well. But we have just seen Tumbbad, which is an Indian horror. I guess you could say, well, horror sci-fi.
It's the only, I wouldn't say sci-fi, it's definitely an Indian horror movie, and I can't say I've ever seen an Indian horror movie before, ever in my life.
I think it's the first for me as well. Yeah. How would you describe this film? I think it's about, it's about greed essentially, isn't it? Because it's about a boy that grows up with a family. It's set in the early 20th century.
Yeah, I mean, it is more or less one character who's obsessed with money because he doesn't have any, and decides to explore the local town folklore about a demon who's guarding some rich money, and they just happen to be very close to this demon and take care of the demon's grandmother and try to force the secrets of the riches from the grandmother, and it's told over quite a long lifetime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of the most original films I've seen in a while. I've never seen a story like this, and I have to say I had a little bit of reservations going to see an Indian horror film, but normally I wouldn't go see a movie like this, but the way it was described it made it sound kind of like I needed to see it.
Yeah, well, I'm all over horror, as you know.
And I knew you would definitely like it,
Yeah, but it was very different. I mean, it reminded me of other horrors. It reminded me of The Descent.
Okay.
Well, especially the last half, where you go down in the depths of, it's like the tomb, isn't it? I can't reveal too much.
Some hellscape area, yeah.
And it also reminded me a little bit of Pan's Labyrinth through a lot of the Toro's movies.
Yeah.
We had that same style. Not so much the colour, but it was very, very plush. It was quite gorgeous to watch.
If the movie was made in Spain, it definitely would have been a Guillermo del Toro production.
So we see the boy. He's very young at the beginning. You can see that he's a bit of a terror. This kid, because obviously, he's quite greedy. He wants the coins, the gold coins in this tomb, and you see the grandmother being kind of chained up, held captive, and looked after, but you don't really see her so much at the beginning. You hear her, you hear this like kind of demonic growling and snorting.
Yeah.
It's almost like the girl in The Exorcist. This kind of sounds like that. It's very, very demonic. It's quite creepy.
Yeah, especially when the young kid grows up and becomes sort of the richest man in the neighborhood because of his weird job that no one really quite understands, and how he trains his son to do the same job. It's quite a trippy movie, and I literally, you and I left the cinema, and I was like, Phil, what the was this movie that I just saw? Like, I can't say that I hated it, I can't say that I loved it, but it really was a mind trip of a movie.
I felt myself nodding off a little bit about halfway through. I think it needed a bit more pace.
But every time there was a scene with those demons in it, it was pretty like edge of your seat, wouldn't you say? Yeah.
And brilliantly done too. I mean, the visual qualities of the film, I think, was brilliant. It's just, I think, there was about a 20-minute segment halfway through that I think could have been edited. I think it was a bit baggy. It was a bit overlong.
Yeah, it could have been definitely cut down in a few places, but I think it's a very ambitious project to make an Indian horror film. I don't even know if this is a genre, Indian horror films at all, but I'm glad I saw it. It's probably one of the more interesting, unique films I've ever seen this past year. So if you're at all curious and you like Indian movies in general and you like horror films, I think this might be a good combination.
Yeah, I would agree. And I don't know if it's a low-budget film.
It seemed pretty high budget to me.
It did look like a high budget movie, but I enjoyed it. I give it a 3-star. I mean, like I say, it was a little bit long.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3 stars as well. I think we're definitely agreed that worth seeing if you're interested in it. And definitely a unique and an interesting movie-going experience.